just a couple of days away from not only fighting for a TUF championship, but a UFC title. I mean, has the reality of that set in? As what is the emotion like right now?
It's not as overwhelming as I thought it was going to be. The emotions have set in, but I'm taking it day by day.
Nice. I mean, everybody coming into the show thinks they have a chance, right? But there were some big names in the tournament. So when you saw the competition when you first got in, I mean, were you so sure that hey, I can do this, or was there a little bit of like, wow, those are some tough fighters?
Of course, there are some moments of like, oh my gosh, should I really be here? Like, am I the fluke? But as soon as I got that first fight out of the way, I just felt like I found my rhythm. And then in practice, I was seeing what all the girls were doing, and I was like, I can hang.
Very nice. So talk about from the time on the show till now. I mean, you've got all this time to A, keep the secret inside of yourself, but B, to get yourself ready for a UFC title fight. What's that time been like, and what's the focus been like in the gym for you?
My focus has never been like clearer. My coaches have been helping out with every aspect of my game. I feel like since I've moved to Albuquerque, I've become more well-rounded. Before that, I was, just a jiu-jitsu practitioner, basically. But now I feel like I can comfortably say that I'm a well-rounded fighter. And they've just been getting into details and fine-tuning. It's been a really, really fun couple of months since the show, and I'm ready to go in there.
Has it been tough for you to sit on this knowledge and keep it secret? I mean, it's one thing when it's just a tough title, but when it's a UFC title as well, I got to think it's been difficult.
Yeah, it's been pretty difficult. I have a huge family between my mom's side and my dad's side, and they're like, just tell me. You can tell me. Come on, Auntie Dee Dee, you can tell me. I'm like, I can't tell you. Stop it. So, everybody and anybody's like, you can tell me. Like, no, I can't.
Not paying those millions.
Yeah.
Kind of a surprise opponent in the finals as well, right? Talk about kind of the matchup and how you feel face up with it.
Yeah, both very low in the seeds. Sajara is a really tough opponent. I've got to see what she's capable of. I unfortunately haven't seen her and Roxanne's fight just yet, but I've seen a lot of her fights on Invicta. I followed her since we first tried out for the 35 a couple years ago. Both of us recognized each other when we tried out for the 25, and we were like, "Hey, what's up?" Kind of nonchalant. And then next thing you know, we're fighting for the title in the octagon. So it's kind of so surreal, but it's my reality right now.
And last thing for me, I mean, so it's kind of interesting. You haven't seen the episode that airs tonight as we speak now.
Yeah.
So will you kind of be tuning in and scouting and watching it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll watch it before I fight her for sure. But right now it's kind of just my fight, what I can go in there and demonstrate. What I've grown to do, what I've developed since the show, and just having fun. Number one.
You talked about kind of the training since the show and trying to get better. How has that training been different than what you were doing before? Has it been like more intense and knowing what's on the line? Has it kind of changed how you've trained?
No, actually, it hasn't been more intense at all. We've actually toned down a lot, and we've started to really strategize. I think I'm comfortable enough to now go in and implement my strategy, at least part of it. So we're just, getting comfortable in the octagon.
You said you tried out for TUF before. Mm-hmm. How did you get? How much better did you get from the first time you tried out till the second time? And do you think you were actually ready to kind of, be at that level before?
I don't think anybody thinks of themselves as ready per se whenever they have these opportunities. I think they're just kind of like, you got to do it. You got to prove to yourself, got to prove to anybody at any given point. Who knows if you're ready until you're actually in there doing your job. But I think I've had 3 more fights since then between the 35 tryouts and the 25 tryouts. And I think I've grown my confidence for sure. And I think my skills have developed very well since then.
You talked about not being as well known as some of the bigger names coming into the show. Apart from obviously winning fights and knocking off bigger seeds, is there a moment looking back in training or preparation of the show where you realized that everybody around you was starting to realize you were going to be a force to be reckoned with, even though maybe they had not known a lot about you prior?
Yeah, could you repeat that question again? Sorry. Or are you talking about my teammates or
the other team? Anybody that saw you in practice, apart from actually winning the fights, where you just sort of felt that vibe change, like people are now understanding that they need to keep an eye on you?
Yeah, I did. as soon as I was cracking pads in tryouts, I had some eyes on me and like, who's that? And I'm like, yeah, that's right. So with my team though, as far as my team goes, you know, my coaches have had faith in me since day one. You know, my old coach at Durango Martial Arts, Chris Jones, my coaches now, John Judy, Tom Vaughn, and Arlene Sanchez, they're like, you got it, and you know, it just takes me to believe in it. So.
How was you know, being seen on the show and, you know, kind of going through that where people now recognize you a little bit? How's that kind of changed for you?
It hasn't really. You know, I've kind of kept off social media since the show just because everything's kind of overwhelming. I've blocked a couple of family members just for the week. But you know, if I'm getting overwhelmed, I know how to just tone it down and get into my zone.
I mean, that could even take a huge step up if you're a champion. I mean,
Yeah.
you thought about that and, you know, kind of prepared yourself mentally for how that will be?
Oh yeah. I think my mental game is pretty strong. You know, I'm pretty balanced. I have a good support system and group of people here who can help build me. You know, and if I get stressed out, they know how to calm me down. As far as social media goes and everybody recognizing me from the show, that really hasn't been an issue. Nobody has been like, "You're Nicco Montano" just yet, so I'm all right.
Cool. Good. Thank you very much.
Right on.